improving your financial wellness. Now, here are your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
AM 1220 KBS, Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show, bringing you what you need to know, want to know, and should know to help guide you to personal financial wellness. And that's what Don Gatling, Gino Franti do every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us in the Vault Media Studio.
In fact, it's been almost 3 years now, Don, that we've been bringing goals and tips.
Don't tell anybody. They don't know we're on.
We've been bringing absolute best experts, and today's no different for the last 3 years to make sure to guide you to personal and financial wellness. And the reason is we know what the cost of bad advice is. It's way too expensive.
We know, you know what the cost of bad advice. There's no one that has not received bad advice sometimes said, I wish I would have known better. And that's what we do. So pay attention, heaven forbid.
Well, and what's important, Don, is we're not only talking to local experts. We do also have our colleagues from the Real Estate Radio Network letting us know what's going on in the rest of the country. So if you're looking to invest outside the country, I just got an email. Yes, this is back, by the way. I got an email yesterday about investing in properties in North Carolina, and another one about investing in people in properties in Spain. Let's not get back into that thing that we did a few years ago. We all know how that ended. So if you don't have any history in North Carolina, you don't have any family in North Carolina, and you received that email yesterday, please don't buy a property there.
Okay. Go Tar Heels. All right, so we'd love you to join us. I was teeing you up, Gino, to join us in the vault at www.donandgino.com, DONANDGINO, donandgino.com, which is cool. Click on the listen and chat live button, and voila, you actually enter the vault, because it is a vault. It is closed. You can't even exit from the outside.
Every once in a while, I actually lock you guys out during the break.
On purpose? It is now the Gino Franti Show.
Only when you're being too goofy, Don.
Anyway, well, then it's going to be every show, because that's what... This is live, obviously, and we do this live because we can give you the most up-to-date information, and we bring you what's really happening in the media, what's really happening in the financial markets and the real estate markets, and it's real information that's not dated information or have any kind of political spins or media spins or hype. This is real information right here for you on AM 1220.
Well, sounds great, Don. Let's jump into the word on wealth and bring them that up-to-date information, because today was actually really interesting, and I'm going to say she speaks. Yes, your Fed chairman speaks.
She. Isn't that cool?
First time she.
Yeah. Never had a woman Fed chair.
Right. So Janet Yellen actually spoke today, and it was nice because it wasn't the testimony.
She wasn't yelling?
It wasn't the big... She wasn't yelling.
I couldn't pass that up.
You see, I'm going to have to lock him out. I'm going to have to lock him out in the break again.
Our guest just walked out. Ken, come back.
She spoke, and what was kind of interesting is, as we've all known, that she's somewhat dovish, which means that she wants to keep this accommodative policy for our country to make sure that we don't fall back into a recession, continuing with Ben Bernanke's policy.
I'm okay with that.
And she actually made a pretty bold statement today saying that accommodative stance will continue.
Yay.
And that she has some concern about mixed reports.
As have we. If you've been listening to our show for the last, 3 months, or 6 months, really, we've been letting you know that, not all is rosy. It's better, but better from what? We got to remember what we came from. We were at the bottom of the basement regarding jobs, regarding home values, and so much more, which we don't even have to go down that negative path. But the good news, it is better, but it's not all rosy yet.
It's not. And I think that, seeing mixed signs in the economy is the first sign of going to a good market. I'd be really concerned if the economy went from absolutely atrocious to really fantastic in 30 days. That would be a problem, right? That means we had way too much stimulus. It looks like we've made our way here. We've started to cut back on the stimulus. Economy's starting to survive on its own. And what's really interesting, based on what she said today, is, and I'm maybe reading into this a little early, but I don't think the next few tapers are going to be as big as these. So we can probably wean off of the stimulus a little slower than we have been, because they want to ensure they don't do anything to damage the market. We've all seen that when interest rates rise, the housing market gets hurt.
That's right. And we follow the housing market on a regular basis. We follow the GDP reports and all that, and we've seen what we try to let you know is it's really easy for the media to jump on any of these reports because it's newsworthy. It's exciting, like when we have one of the highest or lowest reports, and they make a big deal out of it. What we watch are the trends. We follow the trends to let you know what direction it's going. That's what real professionals do, by the way. When you work with a financial professional, you work with a real estate professional, you work with any professional, they actually don't get as emotional. We don't get emotional over rates every day.
No, and you know, one of the things that we've been talking about the last few shows that I think is really important is, as you mentioned, trends. It's not only trends, it's also what are your goals. It's so important to ask, what are your goals? What is your time horizon? Those are really critical questions for almost any advice that you get, right? Whether it's financial advice, whether you're buying a car, a house, any financing, whatever it is. If you're not taking your goals and your timeline into consideration, you're probably not getting good advice.
Yeah, I love when people get 30-year fixed loans when they know they're leaving in 2 years.
Right?
Yeah, we just give up a 1.5%. That's okay.
Yeah, so that's one of the keys. And you know, you mentioned the highs and lows, Don. So let's go over some of those highs and lows real quick. Last week we talked a lot about the National Home Builder Index. Everybody was in a tizzy about it being the worst number in 29 years or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
put actually a positive spin on it, Mr. Gino.
I did, and today actually quite the opposite comes out, right? That the new home sales are up by a great number. So what does this mean? Now builders are gonna take this report and they're gonna go back and build a little bit.
Yes.
So I think they took a pause, they took a breath. They were smart. They didn't build through the winter, and being that it was a bad winter in the rest of the country, of course it was sunny here. We didn't get any rain until today.
Actually, we have that report. If you go to donandgino.com, Furman, can you pop up that report? We have AP Productions behind us. We're like all cool and stuff. And we have the housing report that you can check out, and it'll show where it's at. And the good news is you're going to hear reports about how applications for new home purchases was way down, like one of the worst it's been in 12 years. The good news is that this report will show you that we're bouncing back. This is people actually going back into escrow. Now, we haven't got those applications yet because they're just out looking. The good news is you are looking, and you should be looking, because this is one of the best times to buy. We have a real estate professional sitting in here, Mr. Stephen DeVore, and he's shaking his head going, hell yeah, you should. Without a doubt, because it is amazing. The rates have come back down to just some of the best rates you will ever see. Just so you know, these are some of the best rates you will ever see in your lifetime. The home prices, I think, are probably at some of the lowest you will ever see in your lifetime, because I remember you say that can't happen. Shoot, when I bought my first townhome here, it was $93,000. It is now $240,000. And that's during this time. We're talking now. Not hyped up.
During this century, Don?
Yeah, shut up.
couldn't
Igloo boy,
resist.
man. I just can't believe it. Yep. That's a warning across the bow, Gino. Be careful. All right. So today we're going to go into a little bit more on what the statistics are in the markets, but also we brought back by popular demand a really great guest, and Ken Harris, back by popular demand. He's going to share with you some opportunities that most of us, including us, we learn every time Ken's on the show. We learn about how we could take advantage of a thing called a 1031 exchange. An exchange. No, you're not just changing the bills. It is how you can save money on your taxes when purchasing real estate. And everybody would love to purchase real estate. So stay tuned and find out more from Don and Gino and Ken Harris when we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on the hometown station AM 1220 HCS. We'll be right back.